Over 40 years in the business and a dedication and starting to be the godfather and is the founding one of the founding fathers of reggae. I'm proud to present to you Mr. Freddie McGregor. Welcome to Connecticut.
Yes, greetings. My pleasure.
Now, of course, we know that you have a lot of accolades, but one of the things that caught me the most was to find out that you started a trend in Japan. Everybody talks about Japan and the influence that reggae music has on it, but you actually have Big Ship going on there. Let's talk a little bit about Big Ship.
Well, Big Ship is a company founded just after I left the label Polydor. I was signed to Polydor Records in 1986. We had Just Don't Want to Be Lonely, which became a national hit. And then I became signed to them. And we had And So I'll Wait For You. And we had Just Don't Want, That Girl. And quite a few more tracks. And things were going very well until Polydor ran into difficulties. And I had the choice of re-signing to Arista Records through my management at the time, or did my own thing, and I opted to start Big Ship label. Because somewhere in the back of my head, I always think, one day would I be like a Polydor Records too. But which is a long task, my attorneys and management felt that I was really crazy not wanting to move on to Arista Records because they were managing George Michael and Lisa Stanfield and a bunch of artists at the time. But I opted to start my label. I knew it was going to be a little struggle, but music is my entire life, and I've struggled through it, and I just know that one day, once we start it, it's going to grow. And that was my concept of doing so, and it has turned out that way today, because my sons have taken it on, and Stephen was just one producer of the year, second year in a row, and he's still only 19 years old, and Sheena is doing very well. Shima also, her album is in the making, and we've just signed a new artist called Ladin, and we're looking to sign some other artists, and we're doing great things, and the prospect look really good, like one day we might just become like a Polydor.
Well, I think that's already starting to look good, and I think that you've already made your mark. That's really big. Just last night I was taking a look at a documentary on television where they were counting down reggae's greatest hits, or reggae's top 20 moments, and one of the top 20 moments included Robert Nesta Marley. Now, when I look into that, and people like yourself and Bob Marley are being, in the same sentence, the same family, the same type of cultural roots music, it's interesting to see that you've brought that all around the world, everywhere. You've Nelson Mandela. Let's talk about that a little bit. I know that you performed for him and also the Prince Charles. It's just a lot of people, we see you and we know sometimes we take things for granted and we don't understand what's behind the man. And those are some of the things that you have under your belt. Tell me what it was like.
Tell you something, if you never mentioned that, I wouldn't even remember, because these things, they are important indeed, but sometimes in myself, I probably don't see them as important as they truly are. For me, it's just another phase, another chapter in my life, my career, and it has passed, and I'm moving on to the other ones. But yes, they are very important. When I got the chance to perform for Dada Mandela, we had just gone to South Africa also, and got the chance to visit Mrs. Mandela's house. And we spent a good half an hour there watching the kids play. She have a big play yard in the back there where there are lots of kids around there playing swing, whatever kids do. And that was really interesting. We spent some time in Soweto, and we walked through the ghettos and through the nicest communities there, And that was really a serious inspiration for us. We did 2 concerts there, one in Johannesburg in the stadium and one in Durban. Most beautiful country, I must mention too. But yes, and we were hoping that we would have gotten the chance to see Mr. Mandela being actually there, because he had just come out of prison. But that was when he decided to do his international tours, and he left and went to Germany. And we just happened to have gone back to London to perform as well. And as we arrived in London, we got a call and asked if I'd be interested in doing a concert for Mr. Mandela and Prince Charles in Brixton. Well, of course, the answer was easily and readily yes. and that was a masterpiece concert and a very memorable one. And I'm sure that will go down in the history of Brixton itself and Brixton Town Hall as one of the premier events that have taken place there. We bust that place up that night because England is one of my favorite places. Big fan base there, and I just remember Mr. Mandela nodding his head and Prince Charles up there, and reggae music a pump, and really nice vibe. That was a memorable occasion.
It had to have been a memorable occasion. I can't start to think of what it would have been like for me to actually be there in the audience and seeing that actually happen, and yourself as a performer actually watching it happen must have been very intriguing and something that will remain with you for the rest of your life.
Well, it kind of reminds me of the moment with President Obama recently. That kind of situation, because Dada Mandela just come from prison after many years. So you know what that meant to all of us. So similar situation.
And again, the in New York at the Apollo, you were named there, and they actually honored you there. And
I'm inducted as an Apollo living legend. And I mean, it surprised me too, because sometimes I'm watching TV and watching live at the Apollo, and tonight's show is dedicated to one of our living legend, and that will be Mr. Freddie McGregor. And I'm like, well, me? Yeah, and Kiki Shepherd, I read out my bio and superimpose my picture up on the screen, and I'm like, really? I think I go on still. Oh, yeah, those are nice things. You see, I'm one of the artists who have been performing at the Apollo for many, many years, from early 70s, and we perform there consistently over many years too. So I'm really not surprised that the Apollo themselves recognize me as one of the people who have done work there over the many years, and that's really a good honor for me.
how did you come up with the idea of a DVD compilation with people such as Dennis Brown and Gregory Isaac, and how did you come up with that idea?
It was a concert that I kept in Jamaica back in 1989 in Maypen, Clarendon, where I'm from. That concert event was called Superstars Extravaganza. And we had a host, we had the finest of the finest in Jamaica that night. And that was a memorable concert. And we were able to capture it on DVD with a 3-camera shoot by Phase 3 back then, which was really marvelous. Because we have a tendency not to be able to record our history, And when I look back on that DVD myself, I get a good laugh. Because we're like really skinny, having a Shiner's suit, and Dennis looks skinny and young, and Frankie Paul and Greg, everybody, So those are good memories for us to cherish for our generations to come. So it really do serve the purpose, I think.
Now, 40 years in the business and counting. How did you get started? Where did you get that little, everybody deserves an opportunity. And when did that opportunity
my
happen?
break came as a result of, when I look back on my career now and how it all started for me, I realized my thing wasn't really like wanting to become an entertainer and get famous and make money. My calling was very different, and I've recognized that now. I used to say like I chose the music, but now I realize the music chose me, and all me had to do was just follow. I come from a place called Top Hill, in Hayes, Clarendon. Humble little village where we have mostly sugar cane and sugar factories, real commercial businesses as such. And we have Veer Technical High School and Glenmuir High School further up in Maypen. And so as a youth, I grew up, and my environment reminded me of when I went to Africa first. Looking back on how we lived then, it's just like when I went to like Gambia. And I never say, oh, my mother was going to get out of this rut and how life was going to be different, So, I make up a little song named Roll Dumpling Roll. If you want to know dumpling sweet, dip it in a coconut oil. And look at you and busting in our community. And so people used to ask if I sing the dumpling song, and like the big man them give me threepence, because we used to use pound shilling and pence then. And every chance we get me just bust the dumpling tune and get a threepence. So the word kind of spread in my community now and at school too. And it started going. Well, Ernest Wilson used to go to the East Primary School as well. Much older than I am, by about, I'd say about 4 or 5 years, probably. And him and Peter already started a group, Clarendonians. And that they became somewhat famous because having come from the same community, of course, we are root for you. And it was Ernest's mom, Miss Etlin. She used to work at Veer Technical High School. So one evening, I used to go to her house and rehearse with Ernest and them. But as a little youth, I listen to them rehearsing and me a dip in and home to harmony. And usually if you spoil up the people, them think them will run here and slap after, you know. But them never do that. So apparently, well, little thing I go on good. And, you know, that went on for a little while until one evening, my damn house and me hear Ernest's mother come. And she shout my mother, Tiny, Tiny. She said, them boy I go town weekend and them nah left Freddie. And my mother said, but Jet, I mean, I have the money for pay for him. And she said, no worry about it, me I get paid Thursday, I go. Just like that, you know. And she and my mother converse after that initial discussion. And next thing I know, my mother start iron out my shiners pants and my white shirt. Because I always have a suit of clothes where that one there for gold. I talk about 1963 now, you know. My long pointed toe shoes and my shiners pants and my white shirt, you know. And I remember my sister, she stuffed some newspaper in my stomach and she gave me a nutmeg for putting on my mouth. Them said that make you don't have make you don't get nauseous while traveling. And I think it really worked, you know. And I remember me settling now, she came around and she gave us instruction. Say when you see the cemetery, whenever I understand the word cemetery then. And she said when you see the cemetery, you reach downtown, ask the busman to put you up on the Patipon bus and drop on a Brentford Road and Mr. Dad's studio. Yeah, we did to the cemetery. And we realized over the downtown and Ernest and Peter, who was already familiar with Kingston, still knew the runnings and we ended up at Mr. Dad's studio, Brentford Road. This was like, for me now, first day at college. Jackie Mitu was there, Dan Drummond, Lester Sterling, Roland Alfonso, Bob Andy over there, so BB sitting from and the Gay lads, Bob Marley them over there, so Eptones just come in. It's like crazy. Delroy Wilson was the youngest of them, what me could have really relate to as a youth. Then and I mean it was like, what is, you know, these are the people you hear every day upon radio and you hope for meet and here they are. You know, and everybody asks Ernest, who that you here? A little brother, and I say, yeah, man, I look Freddie, him can sing. And I'm like, sing something in here, roll dumpling roll, and mash up the place, you know. So everybody kind of just fall in love with this little youth, little Freddie, and it went on and on until about the second evening at Studio One, Mr. Dad asked Ernest, where was I staying? And Ernest telling me I stay at McGregor Gully with his aunt. And him tell Ernest to carry my bag the following day. And that was it. That evening, Ernest went back to Rallington Town without me. I went home with Mr. Dad and his family to Pembroke Hall and lived with Mr. Dad at his house for a while until he boarded me out and sent me to a school called St. Andrew Junior High on Agley Park Road. And it was just school studio home. And that happened for a while. Because from 1963, I stayed with Mr. Dad at Studio One. Because Mr. Dad was he had pretty much become my father. Mrs. Dad became my mother. And that was how it went for a long, long time. It wasn't until 1979 before I did my first project outside of Studio One, which was with 90 The Observer. And that year, 1980, saw me going to England, traveling outside of Jamaica for the first time internationally that way. I mean, 75 we went to Florida, yeah, but 80 that was my first move in terms of a recording artist. And you know, went to England and realized how much people love Freddie McGregor, even though it was kind of frustrating for me in Jamaica because it's like it not happened, you know, but it was happening elsewhere. And I got the opportunity to see that, and the whole thing just opened up, and from there on it just became music. Like all I wanted was one opportunity. I always tell myself that, one opportunity. And in 1982, when Big Ship came out and rocketed straight to #1, I just decided that this was my opportunity, and I'm not looking back. And so far since then, it has been that way, you know.
Right, and that song, that album was actually nominated for Grammy.
Yes, back then in the early years, and more recently the Anything For You album and VP got nominated also. But it's just been a long journey, and music is one thing where if you really love it and you're talented, you just have to stay with it, because there's no quitting if you love music. And if you're called for it, it's a different matter from just loving it too. My mission, I was called to do this, and you know, I just follow my path and follow the journey on myself. And I always remember one thing: the singers and players of instruments shall be there for all my springs R&D. And those are really important words to me, you know. So me figure if God give me the blessing if I can sing, I should use my talent to the best of my ability and do good things with it. And that is what I try to do over the years. Hence the kind of songs that will turn out.
Well, speaking of the kind of songs that you turn out, how would you feel if I told you that women sort of think of you as a lover's rock type of person? When we think of Freddie, we think of all the love songs that you sing, and we want to, be with the radio, and we want to just lay down and listen to you.
I get it every night. I mean, I'm funny enough. I think of myself as a person who was contributed to the struggle in terms of cultural songs, because I do make a lot of cultural songs. Fortunately or unfortunately, a lot of them don't become the kind of hits that some of my love songs have become, and so people more associated me with being more a lover singer than a cultural singer. But I think my true passion really lies in terms of the message and relating to the people out there, and send the message and defend the people. And I have a lot of songs that do that, but hey.
And we love those songs too. You're just versatile, but we're going to stick to the love songs. We love the love songs. And of course, you're going to perform for us tonight in Hartford. And I'm sure all these ladies are out getting their outfits and getting ready to go to that concert tonight. I just wanted to touch on, earlier we talked about you being a legend. And I know you're such a humble person that you're going to, just let that roll off your back, But you are a living legend. And what an honor it is to have you right here, sitting next to me with Island Rhythms. And we hope that you come back to Connecticut.
I will. It's my pleasure talking to you too. I mean, we've planned this for a while, and I'm glad we get the opportunity. We just flew back from Orlando last night after a really nice concert at the Hard Rock Cafe, packed to the maximum. And we're here this morning again, ready for tonight. Tonight is going to be wonderful, and we haven't performed here in Hartford for a long time. And Hartford is a place where we have a real strong fan base. We just have a love affair with the people, and it's really nice coming back here on a night like this, Valentine weekend. So, when we leave, I go upstairs, get my things organized, get my suit well, nice up. And tonight we're going to have a ball inside the West Indian Cultural Center, I'm sure.
Big shout out to the ladies in Windsor too. I know that you guys are watching Win TV, and you'll be saying
hairstyles ready and a nice dress and thing.
Yeah, they sure are. Everybody's out there doing their thing and getting ready for Freddie tonight. Of course, so we'll be checking you guys out tonight, February 15th, at the West Indian Club on Main Street. So stay tuned for more Freddie. We're definitely going to be bringing you that, okay? Thank you so much for stopping by.
God bless you. And happy Valentine's to all the ladies out there, too.